Hello and welcome to this, the ninth part of the Midgar playthrough from Avalanche's Final Fantasy VII playthrough. In the last episode we completed the fifth boss, the sample HO512, with the optional bosses. Quite an easy boss to get through, obviously, and we've found our new party member. In this episode, what we're going to be doing is completing lots of bosses and splitting the party into two. We're going to be completing 3 bosses and leaving Midgar.
People. However, once you've spoken with Aerith, her option gets replaced with let's just get some sleep. And once you click that option, something quite mysterious happens. Cloud starts to pass out, and then, when he wakes up, as we'll be able to see, the door is mysteriously open. There's the good old-fashioned Final Fantasy VII sleep music, which only takes 2 seconds. But it's only Cloud's door that's open. If you have a look to the left and right, you'll see that Aerith's door and Red's door, they're both locked. And there's a bit of a problem. Tifa's asleep, but when Cloud goes outside, the guard's dead, and no one knows how he's died. So obviously Cloud's in a bit of a concern. Something's wrong, you need to quickly take a look outside. What do you think's happened? First thing, let's get the keys and open everyone else. So Tifa's going to go and get Aerith, and I will go and get Barrett and Red. How'd you get in? Why is the door open? What the hell's going on? Barrett's got that many questions we don't even know ourselves. No human's done this. Red's going to go on ahead and check everything out. Now, for this short time, we've obviously had the chance to explore ourselves, but now we have to use a physical party again, which is myself and the 2 girls. Now, if you go back here, Barrett just says for you to check on ahead. So the first thing we need to do now is re-equip our party with materia. There is a very clever button called exchange here. What it's done is removed everyone's materia manually. So I'm going to put a restore all spell together. And the reason for that is very straightforward. These 2 girls are the weakest 2 members of my party. Cloud's already equipped, and then I'm going to give Aerith an ice all spell. Plus some fire materia. And then I'm going to give Aerith sense. Tifa can take steel again. Tifa's got a restore spell, so I'm going to give her a lightning and a fire spell. And then we're left with lightning and ice. So I just need to quickly remove just sort all this out. There we go. And we're ready to go. So what we're now going to do is we're going to make our way up. I'm just going to fade out as we go on to the upper floors, and we realise that something's gone on. The Genova specimen's missing. So what I need to do now is carry on up. We've realised the specimen's missing and something's been torn apart. So we're going to go back up now and find a way up to the top floor. So we've just come up to the top floor, and now we've realised that Red 13 is telling us to go upwards. So we do have the key card to 68, but it wouldn't matter anyway because all of these floors would have sort of forcible doors that have been locked, and there's a blood path that's going upwards from floor 68. So we've explored every floor now apart from floor 70 where we had the meeting with President Shinra. And now we're about to go up to floor 70 where the blood still leads, albeit up the other staircase, towards the President's office. And he's dead, it appears. The head of the Shinra Corporation is dead. And what on earth has caused this? Sephiroth must be alive. So, and there's someone there who's hidden now. This was one of the chaps from the earlier meeting who's trying to run away. Palmer by name and very scared by nature usually. Sephiroth came, and did you see him? And there's a reason why Sephiroth doesn't want you to have the Promised Land, because Sephiroth has the blood of the ancients coursing through his veins, as Cloud alluded to in one of his flashbacks. So Vice President Rufus has just turned up. Originally a lot of the translations were thought to have been Rufus, but it's actually pronounced Rufus. And now we're actually really near the end of Midgar. What we've got now is a short dialogue with Rufus, and then we've got a lot of boss battles coming up. And Barrett's just informing him that you're only present because your old man died, and now he's going to give him a little glimpse of his graduation speech, if you like, or inauguration speech, should I say. And he's going to rule Shinra a bit differently. Instead of ruling it by paying everyone, he's going to scare people. And get Aerith out of the building. So I'll go after I take care of him. Oh dear. Looks like Cloud isn't very happy with this new president who he's never met. Or in theory never met. And Aerith just thought of something. Tifa's going to wait for Cloud and everyone else gets to the elevator. Check your equipment. Remove Cloud and Tifa's materia. So now we cannot physically go back. What we have to do now is we have to equip new stuff. Now we've just removed all the materia again, so let's just double check what we need. So with Barrett I'm going to have the Ice and All spell. And with Red 13 I'm going to have the Fire and All spell. And then we just need to sort of put the other materia where it can fit. Now we're not going to be doing a lot of stealing, so I can put the stealing on Aerith so it doesn't lower her sort of hit points too much. I'm going to give Red Sense, and then Lightning, and Ice. I'm also going to give Aerith, instead of having Ice All, I'm going to give her Restore All, and the reason for that will become apparent soon. Barrett's got Ice All, so I'm going to give him Lightning, Poison, Cover, and it would be handy for some of us to have elemental materia, so I'm going to swap that Sense with an elemental. Put on a Sense here. Now we're missing an Ice, so Lightning, Poison, if we can put a Fire. So I'm going to give Aerith Ice, and then Barrett can have Fire there. And there we go. Now, if possible, you should do some limit building here, but there's not going to be a lot of chance to, so we're going to now get into the next set of boss battles. So these are bosses 6 and 7 coming up now. So, 2 big boss battles before we get out of Midgar. Firstly with this chap, and then with one who will come into play once we've killed this guy. So it's 2 boss battles without a break. So you've just got to be very careful. So let's cast Bolt. So the first boss, what's near about? 100 gunner. Right, the first thing that's really important is that Barrett is the only one here who has a long range weapon. Everyone else has a short range weapon, so only Barrett can attack him. However, look at the magic points we've got. Most people are going to be doing physical, so most people are going to be casting magic attacks. Now, if you're ever wondering about what tactics to use, I won't worry too much. This is a machine, so it's clearly going to be weak against, the usual things. Bolt. Now, even though Red doesn't have a short-range weapon, the limit break will still hit him. Just going to cast Sense to get an idea of his hit points. So, usual thing here, as soon as you get limit break, cast it. I'm not using Aerith's limit break because it's a healing limit break, although I'll use it now. So 100 gunner. On your game he has about 1500 hit points, and mine has just over 2000, so it's a bit stronger for me. Aerith's just going to use healing wind, which will get everyone back to full life. So, Now everyone's not got any limit breaks, it's very straightforward. If you can cast Bolt, cast it. Otherwise, cast a different spell. Now, because it's a machine, he will be immune to poison. In other words, there's no point casting it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast Bolt as much as possible. I think every single person has Bolt. So we're just going to keep casting Bolt. There's about 100 damage. Aerith might do slightly more because she's sort of a strong magic user. What you'll also realise as we're going through this battle is that the more damage you deal to him, the weaker he gets, because his arms slowly get blown off. This is to compensate for the fact that the next boss battle will be really hard. Now, the All spell won't be getting used here because we're only fighting one enemy, apart from Aerith's spell, which is Cure All. So I've got to be careful because I can only use Cure All once. So I want to use it, ideally, when it's going to be of most use. Which will be very soon. However, Aerith will also have a limit break soon, so I'm going to try and hold out and just use Aerith's limit break to heal everyone. Now this boss has taken quite a lot of damage now, by which time he should be getting close to being dead. Again, I don't have to worry too much about magic points. I've got over 60 magic points with every person. More than enough. So I'm just going to keep casting Bolt. 2 or 3 more and the guy's going to be dead. Now, once we've killed this boss, the next boss will jump in straight away. So it's like fighting 2 bosses at once. So I won't have any chance to heal or, get more magic points or anything like that. Just cast a wave of artillery and everyone just got really hurt. However, we've killed him. Now that boss was the easier boss to fight, so I'm not going to warn you too much. The next boss, Heligunner, which is about to fly in, is a lot more sort of crafty. So the first thing I'm going to do is get all my limit breaks cast as quick as possible, unless he gets one of us killed. He's just got Aerith killed, which has really messed up my strategy now. Now, on your game this hopefully won't be happening because the bosses will be a lot easier. The bosses here are very tactful about who they attack because of the difficulty mod. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to get a Phoenix down onto Aerith and then we're going to cast Cure on everyone. In the meantime, we're going to cast some spells on other people to try and get them to keep dealing the damage out. So now we've got 2 characters fully healed and red 13s obviously on 260 hit points. Now this boss has a variety of cannons, A, B and C, but it can also mix them. As you can see, there's 3 sort of cannons there and it mixes them up as it sees fit. I'm about to get ready to cast Cure on red, but he hasn't been hit, so that's fine. Now, I'm going to cast Sense here just to show you something interesting. There is an element that got introduced into Final Fantasy VII, which wasn't in any of the other ones explicitly, and it was Wind. Now this boss is a lot weaker in terms of hit points. On your game will have around 1,000 hit points, but the boss deals a lot of damage as we've seen. It can put poison spells on you, it can deal over 150 damage to one person. So I'm going to cast Heal now on red 13 just to make sure. But the other thing it can do is it can not use any of its cannons and it can run over to you and spin attack you. When it does that, it hits one person and dealing severe damage, so you've got to be wary of that, which is why I made sure red 13 got fully healed. Now, on my game he's only down to 230 hit points. See there, it does a load of damage. But luckily for us, the boss will be dead in 2 or 3 hits. And that is bosses 6 and 7 of the game, which were obviously 100 Gunner and then Heligunner. Now once we've fought that boss battle, that is the end of the boss battles for now. So we'll have the usual celebrations. And Barrett's gained Mind Blow, his second limit break, obviously after casting his limit break a certain amount of times. Access menu with menu, remove material from other members with switch, end with start. So we're going to access our menu now. And Cloud is the only person left. So what we're going to do is we're going to move some material. Now, Cloud's about to fight a really hard boss battle on his own, so we've got to think very carefully about what material he wants. Now, I want him to have some ore material to level it up, but at the same time I need to make sure he has space for everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the steel material up. I'm going to move ice. I'm going to move an all. And I'm going to move a restore. And that's already taken up 4 spaces. So we haven't got much material left. So we've got ice, all, restore. I'm just going to move the ice over here because I want to have bolt as my all spell. So now we've got lightning, ice, restore, steel and all. We've got 2 more spaces left. So what I'm going to put on now, I'm going to put on elemental, which is a really useful material to have. It's really important to level up. We could alternatively have another all material. And then I'm going to put poison. Now that's not going to really give us any benefit, so I'm going to move the ice with the poison. Now, neither of the enemies here use any specific sort of strengthy magic that you need to be wary of. Now, some people might say it's better to have the lightning with the elemental because one of the bosses will use a lightning attack. However, I'd rather have the lightning attack on the all material because that's our strongest material, so it's likely to deal most damage. Some people prefer to deal more damage, I prefer to sort of take less, deal more damage. Some people prefer to take less damage. You know, each to their own. So, now, we've fought a load of boss battles. This is the penultimate boss battle of Midgar, and once you press start, you then get into a battle which you can't leave. So, we have a short dialogue now with Rufus. You seek the promised land in Sephiroth. Yes, we do know Sephiroth's an ancient. And now we get into the penultimate boss battle. And this one's a really tricky boss battle, and the reason why it's tricky is because it takes a lot longer, because you've got to be wary of Rufus. So we're going to start with the bolt all. And you'll see that the dog that he is with him helps defend him by casting barrier. Now what barrier will do is it will reduce all damage that he takes from physical attacks. And now we're going to cast barrier on himself. I'm about to cast cross slash limit break on the dog. The idea behind this is once you take out the dog, all that can happen is Rufus can cast a physical attack. So all Rufus can now do is cast shotgun on you. In other words, a physical attack. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my healing spell because I know he's about to hit me. I got the healing spell in first. And then every 2 to 3 attacks I will then cast my spell to heal myself. Now it is quite strong the attack he does. For you guys it'll be less. Now on your game the dog will have a similar amount of hit points to on my game. You know, around about the 200 mark. Now I should just point out that item I've got, a full metal staff, is another weapon for Aerith. Now that is actually a variable, it's not always on there, so just be wary of that, you might not get it. I think I just got lucky. However, the item that we got earlier, which was the striking staff, is a comparable weapon in terms of materia slots, so we won't actually need to use that. Now the technique for defeating Rufus is fairly straightforward, just keep using your spells, and when you get a chance for a limit break, use your limit break. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heal myself now, because I don't want to die. So, I'll have a full limit break now, but I'm quite low on hit points. His attack does, you know, more than mine, so I just want to make sure I've got the hit points. You know, once you've defeated the dog here, this battle's almost impossible to lose, because the dog can cast bolt spells, barrier spells, it can make the battle a lot trickier. All Rufus can do is attack you with his shotgun and do nothing else. And he's paralysed now as well, so he can't physically move. So all I'm going to do now is fire a few more bolt spells at him, and the battle will end. But of course, remember, because we can't let Rufus die, the battle will end with him running away. Now I've got 75 magic points, so I'm not going to run out of MP. He'll just keep laughing at you. Bolt and ice do sort of similar damages. So one more shotgun and I will have another limit break I can use on him. The limit break last time did a lot less damage because he had a physical barrier that was sort of defending him. So I'm just going to use Cure on myself, like I said, I could do an attack and then use cure, but I just want to make sure that I don't die, so I don't have to redo the battle again. So now I've got sort of 2 or 3 more attacks before I need to worry about healing. So hopefully his barrier has sort of faded by now, which means my limit break will do a lot of damage. If it hasn't, it's not really a big concern. And that's it for today. The limit break there, like I said, did a lot more damage because the barrier had faded. So we get 47 AP there, which is why I wanted to make sure we had some of the items on there. Now, you'll notice that we got a full metal staff there. You sometimes get a separate item there, which is an accessory to defend with.
Okay, and that was all for this, the 9th part of the Midgar playthrough from Avalanche's Final Fantasy VII playthrough. We've completed Rufus, which is the penultimate boss of the Midgar playthrough, like we said to do. In the next episode, what we're going to be doing is fleeing Midgar on our bike, fighting the final boss, the motor ball, and then looking to proceed on the world map.